Hello, my name is Mina Fletcher, and this is my HCI Bad Design Journal presentation, where I will talk about three different examples of HCI issues and bad design that I have found in real interfaces that I've interacted with. And I will talk about where the issues have gone wrong, what the design problem is, what principle of HCI it violates, and what improvements can be made to improve the design. So to start off with my first example, I will be talking about the Google Jamboard homepage. And this homepage is visible when you get to Google Jamboard and you have yet to create a new jam. And so when I first interacted with this interface, I did not have any new jams yet. And I noticed the design problem that the phrase that we can see here under "you don't have a jam yet" says tap plus to create one. Now, the homepage, when it says tap plus to create one, is referring to the plus button in the lower right corner that is circled in red. However, when I first interacted with this, I thought that it was referring to the plus symbol on our computer's keyboard. The reason why I thought this is because the plus is written out as a character, and it does not specify tap plus button or tap plus in lower right corner to create one. So the issue was that when I interacted with this, I lost a few seconds of my life thinking about why tapping the plus sign on the keyboard wasn't working before I realized that it was referring to the button in the lower right corner. Now, in terms of what design principle this violates, I decided that it violates Norman's first principle of discoverability. And the reason for this is because the action of adding a new jam is no longer discoverable if there is other issues with the design that distract the user. So for example, the phrase saying tap plus to create one means that me as a user, I become confused. I try to tap the plus symbol on my keyboard and nothing is working. And it makes it a lot more difficult for me to notice how to actually complete the action of adding a new jam, which is by pressing the button in the lower right corner. So because of this misleading statement, the action of how to actually add a new jam is not discoverable and therefore violates Norman's principle of discoverability. Now, in order to improve the design, I think that the main way to improve the design is to just replace the phrase tap plus to create a new one with something that is more specific and clear to the user of how exactly they can accomplish the task of creating a new jam. So in the example that we can see here, I replaced the previous text with a new phrase that says tap the plus button in the lower right corner to create one. Now, this phrasing is a lot more preventative of errors because it specifies that the plus is a button. So the user is not trying to press something on their keyboard. They are looking for a button on the screen, and it directs them specifically to the button by saying in the lower right corner. So this way the action is entirely discoverable. There are fewer ways that the user can get confused, and they know exactly how to fix the issue. Now on to our next example. I have a Google sign-in page, which is when I try to access the Jamboard web from an email that does not have access to the specific functionality in Google. So in the example I have below, I tried accessing Jamboard from my Husky email, but because our Husky emails are no longer owned by Google, then I did not have access to this functionality. So from this point, there was an option to sign in with a different account, which I tried to do. But when I sign in from a different account, it takes me to this 404 that's an error page. And I have had this issue many times. I still do not know exactly why it happens, but I have figured loopholes of how to get around it. But the issue and the design problem here is that the error page is not communicative of where the user went wrong in their error. So it does not give any details as to how the user got to this page, and it also does not provide an out for the user. So it does not provide a button for the user to be able to go down a different link, and they simply have to go back to square one in a different tab. Now, I think that this violates Nielsen's 9th design principle, which is help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. So this page violates this principle because it does not help the user recognize the error. First of all, it does not give any phrasing that specifies what the error is, so the user does not know how to fix it. It does not diagnose the error in the same way, where it does not explain how the user got to this point, or how they can recover from it. And so lastly, it doesn't provide any option to recover from the error because it does not provide a link to then follow to complete a different task or to go to a different page, and the user simply is stuck on this empty page with no information. So in terms of being able to improve this issue, I think that we need to change the error message of this page to something that is more oriented and understandable by humans. So using kind of real text that is not robotic and saying, we're sorry, there's been an issue switching your Google account. Please visit the link below to successfully switch your Google account and be directed to the Jamboard page. So now I've replaced the previous text with this text that is a lot more specific as to what the user needs to do next. So while it might still be entirely unaware of what the exact issue is, it suggests to the user where the issue may have went wrong in terms of switching the Google account, and then it provides them exactly what the user needs to do next to be able to get out of this issue. So it provides a switch account button that they can then click that will successfully be able to help them switch their account and be redirected to the original Jamboard page. And so the main fixes here are replacing the text with something that are more human-friendly and more specific about where the error went wrong and how the user can fix it. And then adding in this additional button, which provides an option for the user to click on to be able to get out of this error and help recover from it. My last example is on the Northeastern ticket registration page. So this example I came across when I was trying to purchase tickets for a hockey game at Matthews Arena. And essentially the page takes you to a page where you can choose to be what section you would like to be in. So as a student, I want to go for free. So you can see that I have the doghouse section selected here. And then underneath this section, it directs the user to choose from a drop-down menu of available sections where they would like to be placed. So for example, doghouse sections tend to be in the range of 40 to 45, while the mini suite sections may be sections 2 or 3. And so then when you open up this drop-down menu, it gives you an entire range of all the different sections to choose from, and means that the user assumes that all of these sections are then have available seating. However, once you actually choose a section, the next page it takes you to says that no seats were found to match the criteria. And so the problem is that it gives the user the option to select from all of these sections, even if they do not have available seating, and the user then has to randomly select through sections until they find one that works. Now, I believe that this violates Norman's 4th design principle of affordances, because providing all the sections allows the user to select from any of these options or affordances, however, sometimes with unsuccessful results. So it's an improper use of affordances. It provides too many options to the user that will not be successful for them, and they do not know which sections to choose on that will be able to successfully help them purchase a ticket. So an improvement would be to gray out and make the sections that do not have seats unclickable, and to leave the sections that do have seats that will have a successful turnout for the user as clickable. So you can see here in my redesigned mockup that all the other sections are grayed out, which means that the user cannot click on these, but the sections 44 through 53 are all available, so the user can select from any of these options, and ideally the next page it would take them to would be a confirmation page that they have successfully selected available seating. So overall, that is it for my Bad Design Journal presentation, and a lot of the improvements that can be made are simple fixes that make it more clear to the user exactly what they need to do to be able to successfully complete a task. Thank you.